Dear sophisticated species, those prison ships? There are pleasure cruises Part 1. The emergency lights flashed red across the council chamber. Ambassador Murray stood at the center platform, surrounded by floating pods that held representatives from 43 different species. Every single one of them looked angry, scared, or both. Explain yourselves, Overseer Velther clicked through his translator. His insect body trembled with what Murray had learned to recognize as deep offense. We have evidence. We have recordings. Your people are committing acts of mass suffering. Murray took a breath. She had faced difficult negotiations before, but this was different. The council members actually looked frightened of her. Of humans. That had never happened before. Honored Overseer, I believe there has been a misunderstanding, she began. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a human vessel, one that Murray recognized immediately as the Celestial Dream. The image zoomed inside, showing humans walking through corridors, exercising in various rooms, eating meals, and lounging in what looked like recreation areas. This does not look like suffering to me, Murray said carefully. That is exactly our concern. Velther's translator crackled with emotion. These vessels were designed as maximum security prison transports. The conditions inside are meant to be unbearable. Yet your species treats them as ... pleasure cruises, another council member finished. You purchased 17 of our decommissioned prison barges and turned them into tourist vessels. Murray felt her stomach sink. She finally understood. You thought we were torturing our own people? What else could we think? Velther pulled up more data. These ships have 8 times standard gravity in the exercise chambers. The sleeping quarters have no cushioning. The temperature fluctuates by 40 degrees. The radiation levels in certain sections would kill most species within hours. The engine vibrations alone would shatter the bones of my people. Outside the council chamber, Captain Hyon waited with his security team. Teeman, his second officer, leaned against the wall with his arms crossed. Think she's okay in there? Teeman asked. Murray can handle herself, Hyon replied. But he checked his communicator again anyway. The ambassador had been inside for 2 hours now. The door finally opened. Murray walked out, and her face told Hyon everything he needed to know. This was bad. They think we're monsters, she said quietly. They think we're either hiding our true nature as some kind of super predator species or that we're too primitive to understand we're hurting ourselves. Because of the cruise ships? Hyon asked. Because of what those ships were originally designed for. Murray pulled up her datapad and showed him the specifications. Hyon, these vessels were built to break prisoners. The conditions inside are considered torture devices by every other known species in the galaxy. Teeman leaned over to look at the specs and started laughing. These are the ships with the great gems, right? My sister took her family on the Celestial Dream last month. Her kids loved it. Murray and Hyon both stared at him. What? Teeman shrugged. The 8G gem is supposed to be amazing. Really gets your blood pumping. That 8G gem was designed to punish prisoners by forcing them to move in crushing gravity, Murray said slowly. Huh. Teeman thought about it. Well, it makes for a great workout. Hyon pinched the bridge of his nose. We need to fix this. What did the council say? They want proof, Murray answered. They want us to demonstrate that humans genuinely find these conditions comfortable. They're giving us 1 week. If we can't prove it, they're revoking our space travel privileges pending a full investigation into human psychology and biology. Can they do that? Teeman asked. They can if they vote it through. And right now, they're scared enough to vote for anything. Murray looked tired. They think we might be dangerous. A species that finds torture comfortable is either lying or truly terrifying. Back on the human station orbiting Luna, Jiwan finished her shift in the engine room and checked her messages. Her daughter had sent another video from the Celestial Dream. Jiwan smiled as she watched Subin running through the corridors, laughing about how much fun she was having with the other kids. The next message made her smile fade. It was from Captain Hyon, emergency meeting. Old diplomatic staff and anyone with expertise on the cruise ship conversions. Report immediately. Jiwon pulled up her work history. She had been the lead engineer on 3 of the prison barge conversions. She had personally designed the upgrades that turned those ships from decommissioned military vessels into family-friendly cruise liners. She remembered being excited about the project. The ships were solid, well-built, and cheap because nobody else wanted them. Now, apparently, there was a problem. She arrived at the meeting room to find it packed. Engineers, diplomats, military personnel, and several cruise ship captains. Captain Dae-yeon from the Celestial Dream was there. Still in his uniform. Ambassador Mireille stood at the front and explained the situation. As she talked, the room grew quiet. Then someone started laughing. Then several people. Soon, half the room was trying to stifle giggles. "This is not funny," Mireille said, but even she was fighting a smile. "The council is genuinely concerned. They think we're either suffering in silence or that we're a threat to galactic peace." "But those are just normal ships," one of the engineers protested. "Sure, they're a bit barebones, but that's part of the charm. Vintage space travel aesthetic. To them, it is torture," Hyen said seriously. "We need to make them understand that humans are built differently. That what hurts them does not hurt us the same way." Dae-yeon raised his hand. "I can help with that. Bring council observers to the Celestial Dream. Let them watch real passengers enjoying their vacation. If they see that everyone is genuinely happy, they will have to believe us." "They already saw recordings," Mireille pointed out. "They think we are acting? Then we show them medical data. Real-time biological monitoring. Stress hormones, heart rates, brain activity. Science does not lie." Ji-won stood up. "I can set up the monitoring systems. If they can watch passengers in real time and see that their bodies are relaxed and happy, they cannot deny the truth." Mireille looked at Hyen. He nodded. "All right," the ambassador said. "We have 6 days. Dae-yeon, prepare the Celestial Dream for council observers. Ji-won, set up your monitoring systems. Everyone else, prepare documentation on human physiology, Earth conditions, and why we are built to handle what other species cannot." As the meeting broke up, Teemin approached Hyen quietly. "Sir, what if they still do not believe us?" Hyen watched Mireille gather her materials, her face set with determination. "Then we will have bigger problems than we thought. If the council decides humans are a threat, we could be looking at quarantine. Or worse, over cruise ships," Teemin muttered. "Over what those cruise ships represent," Hyen corrected. "A species that finds torture comfortable is something the galaxy has never seen before. And the unknown is always frightening." Across the room, Yuan was already on her communicator, calling the Celestial Dream. Her daughter would need to come home early from her vacation. This demonstration needed to be perfect, and having actual families aboard, genuinely enjoying themselves, would be crucial. She just hoped Subin would not be too disappointed. Then again, her daughter would probably think having aliens observe their vacation was the coolest thing ever. Mireille stood alone after everyone left, looking out at Earth through the viewport. Such a beautiful planet. Blue and green and white. It looked peaceful from up here. She thought about what the council members had said. About Earth's gravity being heavy. About the radiation levels being high. About the temperature swings being extreme. To humans, Earth was home. It was normal. It was comfortable. Maybe that was the real problem. Maybe humans had no idea just how different they really were. The council observers arrived on the Celestial Dream wearing full environmental suits. 12 different species, each protected by their own specialized life support systems. They looked like they were preparing to enter a war zone. Captain Dae-yeon greeted them at the airlock with a smile and a standard. "Cruise ship welcome. Good morning, honored guests. Welcome aboard the Celestial Dream. I hope you enjoy your stay." Overseer Velther spoke through his suit's external speakers. "We are here to observe, not to enjoy. Please proceed with your normal operations. We will document everything, of course." Dae-yeon gestured down the corridor. "The ship is fully booked this week. 300 passengers, 60 crew members. everyone going about their normal vacation activities. The observers followed him through the main corridor. Already they saw humans walking past in casual clothes. A couple strolled by holding hands. Two children ran past, laughing. An elderly man sat reading on a bench that was just bare metal with minimal padding, one of the observers. A being called Thelmos checked his scanner. The gravity in this corridor is 1.2 times standard. The temperature is fluctuating between 18 and 24 degrees. The metal surfaces have no thermal regulation. That is correct, Daeyeon confirmed. Though we do maintain stricter temperature control in the sleeping areas and dining halls. Guest comfort is our priority. Several observers made notes. Guest comfort. In conditions that would cause most species significant pain, the first stop was the fitness center. Through the viewing window, the observers could see dozens of humans exercising, running on machines, lifting heavy objects, moving through the thick resistance of 8 times gravity. This is impossible, Velther said flatly. Our scientists calculated that this gravity level would crush most organic beings within minutes. Sora, the ship's entertainment coordinator, joined them. She was wearing workout clothes and was clearly sweating. Just finished my morning routine. AG is tough, but it's worth it. You can really feel the burn. She noticed the observers staring at her. Oh, sorry. Let me explain. The high gravity makes your muscles work harder. A 30-minute workout here equals hours of regular exercise. It is very popular with our fitness enthusiasts. One of the observers stepped closer to the window. Inside, a woman was spotting her partner as he lifted weights. They were both laughing about something. Their heart rates, displayed on Jiwon's monitoring system, showed they were working hard but not in distress. Their stress hormones were actually low. They are happy, the observer said with confusion. Their biology shows pleasure responses. Of course, Sora smiled. Exercise releases endorphins. Makes you feel good. But the pain, another observer protested. The strain on the body, that is part of the fun? Sora looked at them curiously. You do not enjoy physical challenges? The observers had no answer for that. Next, they visited the solar deck. This was where Jiwon had been most worried. The radiation levels here were carefully controlled but still high by galactic standards. Any other species would need serious shielding. Instead, they found 50 humans lying on chairs, relaxing under the simulated sunlight. They are being irradiated, Velther said. His translator somehow managed to convey horror. Why are they not fleeing? They are tanning, Daeyeon explained. Humans enjoy sun exposure. It produces vitamin D, which is essential for our health. It also makes our skin darker, which many people find attractive. A teenage girl walked past, examining her arms. Finally getting some color, she told her friend. I was so pale after winter. Kyungmin, the ship's medical officer, showed the observers his health data. I have been monitoring all passengers since we learned about the Council's concerns. Everyone's vitamin D levels are increasing. Mood indicators are positive. No signs of radiation sickness because humans evolved under similar conditions. Evolved under, one observer repeated. You mean your planet has these radiation levels naturally? Earth has a star, Kyungmin said slowly, as if this was obvious. Stars produce radiation. We live under it every day. The observers exchanged glances. Their own worlds either had thicker atmospheres, weaker stars, or both. The idea of living under constant radiation was terrifying, the tour continued. In the massage section, humans lay on tables while the engine vibrations pulsed through the ship's structure. The observers' instruments showed the vibrations were strong enough to cause internal damage to most species. The humans were sleeping the vibrations. Help relax tense muscles, explained the massage therapist. We timed the sessions with the engine cycles. Some guests specifically book cabins near the engine room because they like the constant rumble. Helps them sleep better. They seek out the most dangerous areas, an observer whispered. They find comfort in what should kill them. In the dining hall, families ate together. Children traded stories about their day. Couples enjoyed romantic meals. Everyone sat on chairs that were barely padded, at tables made of hard metal, in temperatures that shifted based on occupancy and time of day. Nobody complained. Nobody looked uncomfortable. G1 approached the observers with a datapad. These are the real-time biological readings from every passenger. Heart rates, brain activity, hormone levels, everything. As you can see, everyone is in vacation mode. Stress is low. Happiness indicators are high. This is what relaxation looks like for humans. Velther studied the data for a long time. Finally, he spoke. This changes everything we thought we knew about biological tolerances. How is this possible? Our planet is harsh, Jawan said simply. We evolved to survive it. What you see as torture devices, we see as reminders of home. That evening, the observers gathered in their shielded observation pod to compile their report. None of them had removed their environmental suits all day. Even with protection, several felt exhausted from the conditions. Meanwhile, on the recreation deck, a dance party was in full swing. Humans moved to music that was too loud by galactic standards, in gravity that was too heavy, in temperatures that were too variable. They danced and laughed and had the time of their lives. Little Subin, Jiwan's daughter, had convinced her mother to let her show the observers her favorite spot. It was a viewing area near the engine room where the vibrations were strongest and the temperature ran hot. This is where I do my homework, Subin explained proudly to the suited aliens. The humming helps me concentrate. And it is warm, like being under a blanket. Thelmos scanned the area. The conditions here would be lethal to his species within an hour. This human child used it as a study space. Are you not afraid? He asked. Subin looked confused. Afraid of what? Of the ship. Of the conditions. Of the danger. There is no danger, Subin said. This is a cruise ship. It is safe. My dad helped build it. She brightened. Do you want to see the ice room? That is really cool, literally. The ice room was kept at -10 degrees. Humans sat inside in minimal clothing, exposing their skin to freezing temperatures on purpose. They claimed it was invigorating. Next to it was the sauna, heated to 50 degrees. Humans went back and forth between the two, shocking their systems with temperature extremes. They called it a spa treatment. By the end of the second day, the observers had seen enough. They had recordings, data, and biological proof. The humans were not acting. They were not being forced. They genuinely found these conditions enjoyable. Velther called Ambassador Murray to the observation pod. We owe your species an apology. We made assumptions based on our own biological limits. We did not consider that life could adapt so differently. Does this mean our space travel privileges are secure? Murray asked. It means we need to reconvene the full council. Because if humans find prison ships comfortable, we need to reconsider what we think we know about biological diversity. Velther paused. It also means we need to ask a more important question. What question? What kind of planet creates a species like yours? Murray smiled slightly. Would you like to see Earth? Absolutely not, Velther replied immediately. If this ship represents comfortable conditions for your species, I have no desire to see your homeworld. The observers left the next morning. As their shuttle pulled away, they could see through the windows of the celestial dream, humans going about their vacation. Exercising, relaxing, playing, living. Captain. Dae-Yun watched them go and turned to Sora. Think we convinced them? I think we scared them, Sora replied. But yes, I think they believe us now. On board the observer shuttle, the council members sat in silence. Each of them was thinking the same thing. If humans were this comfortable in prison ships, what else were they capable of? And more importantly, were humans dangerous, or were they the answer to problems the council had never been able to solve? Only time would tell. Dear sophisticated species, those prison ships. There are pleasure cruises. Part 3. The council chamber was packed. Every member species had sent their top scientists. They all wanted answers to the same question. What kind of world creates a species? Like humanity? Professor Yuna stood at the central platform, flanked by historian Ji-hoon and their AI assistant Ren. Yuna had spent her career studying alien biology. She had never expected to be explaining her own species to a room full of scared scientists. "Thank you for inviting us," Yuna began. "I understand you have questions about human evolution and why we are so different from other council species." "Different is an understatement," Velther said. "Your species treats our torture devices as vacation equipment. We need to understand why." Yuna nodded and pulled up a hologram of Earth. The planet rotated slowly, showing blue oceans and green continents. It looked beautiful. "This is Earth, our homeworld. Before I explain human evolution, you need to understand the environment that created us." She highlighted several data points around the planet. The council members leaned forward to read them. "Earth's gravity is 1.0, Yuna said. This is approximately 20 to 40% higher than most council homeworlds. We classify it as a heavy gravity world." "You evolved in heavy gravity?" one scientist asked. "That explains the bone density and muscle mass, but not the tolerance for extreme conditions. We are just getting started." Yuna changed the display to show Earth's atmosphere. "Our oxygen content is 21%. This is near the upper limit before oxygen becomes toxic. It is also why our metabolisms run hot and fast compared to most species." Ji-hoon stepped forward. "Earth's star is classified as a G-type main sequence star. It produces significant radiation across multiple spectrums. Humans evolved under this constant bombardment. Our skin produces melanin to protect us. Our cells have developed repair mechanisms for radiation damage. What you see as dangerous exposure, we experience as normal background levels." "But the temperature," another council member protested. "Your ships have wild temperature fluctuations." "Because Earth does," Yuna replied simply. She showed a time lapse of Earth seasons. "Our planet tilts on its axis. This creates seasons with massive temperature swings. In some regions, temperatures vary by 80 degrees between summer and winter. Humans have lived in environments ranging from -40 degrees to +50 degrees. The room fell silent. "Those were killing conditions for most species." "How do you survive?" Velther asked. "We adapt." Yuna brought up images of humans in different environments. "We lack fur or thick skin. Instead, we use tools. We build shelters. We create clothing. And our bodies have a unique temperature regulation system." She showed a close-up of human skin. "We sweat. We have millions of sweat glands that release water across our skin surface. As it evaporates, it cools us. This system is extremely efficient and almost unique in the galaxy. It allows us to function in heat that would kill most species." "And the cold?" someone asked. "We shiver to generate heat. We develop subcutaneous fat. We build fires. We adapt." Ji-hoon smiled slightly. "Humans are persistent specialists. We survive by refusing to give up." Ren, the AI, projected a timeline of Earth's history. "Understanding human durability requires understanding Earth's violent past. Let me show you." The timeline started 4 billion years ago. It showed Earth formation, early oceans, and the first life. Then came the catastrophes. "Earth has experienced 5 major mass extinction events," Ren explained. "Events so devastating they killed 60 to 90% of all species alive at the time. Asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions, climate shifts, ice ages." The council members watched as the timeline showed repeated disasters. Each time, life nearly died out. Each time, it came back stronger. "Human ancestors survived multiple ice ages," Ji-hoon continued. "Periods when Earth's temperature dropped dramatically and ice covered much of the planet. We learned to use fire, build insulated shelters, and hunt in conditions that killed most other large animals." "You mentioned hunting," Velther said. "This concerns us. Are humans predators?" Yuna chose her words carefully. "Humans are omnivores, but yes, our ancestors were hunters. Specifically, persistence hunters." She showed a video that made many council members look away in discomfort. It showed early humans chasing prey animals across open ground under a blazing sun. "This is how our ancestors hunted." We did not have claws or fangs or venom. We could not run as fast as our prey. So we developed a different strategy. We chased them until they collapsed from exhaustion. That is torture, one observer said quietly. That is survival, Yuna corrected. Humans can run for hours without stopping. We can regulate our temperature through sweating while our prey cannot. We can carry water and food while we run. We simply outlasted them. Some hunts took 8 to 12 hours. Humans would chase prey through the heat of the day, the time when most animals must rest or die from overheating. Ji-hoon added context. This strategy required extreme endurance, strong bones to handle repeated impact, efficient cardiovascular systems, high pain tolerance, the ability to function while tired, hot, thirsty, and uncomfortable. These traits are not optional for humans. They are fundamental to how we evolved. So you are built for suffering, Velther concluded. No, Yuna shook her head firmly. We are built for endurance. There is a difference. What you see as suffering, we experience as normal effort. The discomfort you feel in high gravity, we feel as a good workout. The radiation that harms you, we barely notice. The temperature swings that would kill you, we find refreshing. Ren pulled up comparative biology charts. Let me quantify this. Human bone density is 30 to 40% higher than the council average. Human cardiovascular efficiency is 50% higher. Human healing rates are 2 to 3 times faster. Human pain tolerance is significantly elevated. These are not small differences. They are fundamental, but why? A council scientist asked. Evolution is efficient. Why would nature create such an overbuilt species? Because Earth demanded it, Ji-hoon answered. Earth is not a gentle world. It has predators everywhere. Dangerous weather, diseases, limited resources. Humans who could not endure these conditions simply did not survive to have children. Over millions of years, only the most durable humans passed on their genes. Yuna showed images of Earth's biodiversity: lions, bears, snakes, sharks, crocodiles. Earth has thousands of species that can kill humans. We evolved in constant danger. This shaped not just our bodies but our minds. Humans seek challenge. We need stimulation. A life of perfect comfort actually makes us unhappy. This seemed to disturb the council members most of all. You need difficulty? Velther asked. Not difficulty exactly, Yuna tried to explain. We need engagement, challenge, growth. When everything is too easy, humans become bored and depressed. This is why we exercise even though it is hard. Why we enjoy the vibrations and temperature swings on those cruise ships. They remind us we are alive. Ji-hoon pulled up research on human psychology. Studies show that humans who live in completely controlled environments with no challenges develop mental health problems. We need some level of stress to thrive. What you designed as torture hits our sweet spot of being challenging but not truly dangerous. This is madness, one council member muttered. This is humanity, Yuna replied. We know we are unusual. But we are not trying to be threatening. We are simply being ourselves. The questioning continued for hours. The council scientists asked about human healing, human senses, human reproduction, human social structures. Each answer revealed more differences. Finally, as the session ended, Velther had one more question. These death world planets that humans are colonizing, the ones we deemed uninhabitable, are they truly comfortable for you? Yuna and Ji-hoon exchanged glances. Comfortable might be strong, Yuna admitted, but livable? Yes, humans can adapt to most environments that have basic requirements: breathable air, drinkable water, reasonable temperature ranges. What you see as hostile, we see as challenging. And humans like challenges. Because you evolved in hell, Velther said quietly. We evolved on Earth, Ji-hoon corrected gently. It is only hell if you are not built for it. To us, it is home, it is paradise. It is everything we know and love. The council members filed out slowly. Thelmos approached Yuna privately. I have been studying Earth's conditions since visiting your cruise ship. I have a question I have been afraid to ask. Please ask anything. Your planet has active volcanoes. Earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, Tsunamis, wildfires, floods, these are constant natural disasters. How do humans cope with living in such danger? Eunice smiled. We build better. We prepare, we help each other survive. And honestly, most of the time, Earth is beautiful and peaceful. The disasters are rare enough that we can manage them. Most of the time, Thelmos repeated. On my world, natural disasters happen perhaps once every few centuries. You're saying Earth has them constantly? Every year, somewhere on Earth, there is a major natural disaster. Yes, Thelmos was quiet for a moment. I think I finally understand why the Council fears humans. Not because you are aggressive or cruel, but because you come from a world that should not be able to support complex life, yet you thrive there. You are living proof that our dear sophisticated species, those prison ships, there are pleasure cruises part 4. 3 days after the presentation, the Council split into two factions. One group believed humans were simply unusual but harmless. The other group believed something very different. General Corthan led the second faction. He was a decorated warrior from a species that had seen many conflicts. He did not trust coincidences, and everything about humans seemed like one big coincidence. Look at the evidence. Corthan projected images across the war room. His inner circle of military leaders from various species watched carefully. Humans arrive in Council space. They immediately begin purchasing our most extreme vessels, ships that were designed to break prisoners. They claim these are pleasure craft. They have proven this, one advisor pointed out. The observers confirmed humans genuinely enjoy those conditions, which means humans are more dangerous than we thought. Corthan changed the display. They are buying Death World planets, establishing colonies in radiation zones, setting up mining operations in environments that require our most advanced robotics. They go places we cannot follow. Another military leader spoke up. You think they are scouting? Preparing invasion routes? I think we should not ignore the pattern. Corthan showed more data. Human civilian ships are built to the same standards as their military vessels. Their cruise ships have hull plating that could withstand weapons fire. Their colony transports have engines powerful enough for combat maneuvers. Everything about their technology suggests they are ready for war. Or they are simply over-engineering because that is their nature, the advisor argued. Perhaps Corthan was not convinced. But when a species this durable starts expanding into territory we cannot access, we must consider all possibilities, including the possibility that they are not as peaceful as they claim. Meanwhile, Captain Hedgen was having a very bad day. Her freighter, the Morning Star, had suffered a cascade failure in its navigation system. She had dropped out of faster-than-light travel in an unplanned location. An extremely bad location. This is Captain Hedgen of the Morning Star broadcasting distress signal. She said into the com for the 10th time. I am stranded in the Kalos field. Engines are offline. Life support is stable, but I cannot maneuver. Requesting immediate assistance. The Kalos field was a debris zone left over from an ancient battle. Radiation levels were dangerously high. Unstable asteroids drifted everywhere. The gravity field was chaotic. It was marked on every star chart as a no-go zone. Hedgen checked her supplies. She had maybe 48 hours before she needed to worry. Less if something hit her ship. She sent another distress call and tried not to panic. 6 hours away, Admiral Jinho received the distress call. He was leading a small patrol fleet through the sector on a routine mission. The Morning Star was a civilian vessel with a crew of one. No question about responding. Set course for the Kalos field, he ordered. Maximum speed. Someone needs help. His second officer hesitated. Sir, the Kalos field is extremely hazardous. We should request specialized rescue teams, which will take 3 days to arrive, Junho replied. Captain Hedgen does not have 3 days. We can reach her in 6 hours. We go now. What Junho did not know was that his patrol had been under observation. General Corthan had assigned stealth ships to monitor human military movements. When Junho's fleet changed course toward the Kalos field, alarms went off. They are entering the Kalos field, the surveillance officer reported. The forbidden zone. Corthan felt his suspicions confirmed. Follow them. Stay hidden. Record everything. At the council station, Intelligence Officer Nari was reviewing routine reports when she noticed something odd. Human military vessels were being tracked by council stealth ships. That was unusual but not unheard of. What worried her was where those ships were going. She pulled up the full data and her concern grew. The humans were heading into the Kilos field. The council was following them. Both groups seemed unaware of each other. This could go very wrong very quickly. Nari grabbed her communicator. I need to speak with Ambassador Murray immediately. Back in the Kalos field, Admiral Junho's fleet had reached the Morning Star. The conditions were exactly as bad as advertised. Radiation levels were high. Debris constantly threatened collision. The gravity field made navigation difficult. Junho's crew went to work anyway. Taiyang, take your team and secure a line to the Morning Star, Junho ordered. Minho, I need you to assess damage and determine if we can repair on site or need to tow. Yes. Sir? Both officers suited up and headed to the airlock. What happened next would have been routine for humans but looked like something else entirely to the observers. Taiyang and his team launched themselves into space with minimal protection. Their suits were standard EVA gear, not the heavy radiation shielding that other species would require. They moved through the radiation field like it was nothing. Minho reached the Morning Star and began examining the damaged sections. He worked in vacuum, in unstable gravity, in radiation that would kill most species within minutes. He moved quickly and efficiently, calling out damage reports while his hands worked to stabilize systems. Inside the stealth ship, the council observers watched with growing horror. They are working without proper protection, one said. This is impossible. Record everything, Corthan ordered. This is exactly what I suspected. These are not normal civilians or even normal military. These are elite troops operating in conditions no one else can survive. On the Morning Star, Captain Hedgen was relieved and grateful. Thank you so much for coming. I did not think anyone could reach me in time. Happy to help, Junho replied over the com. My people are working on your engines now. We should have you mobile within a few hours. Hours? Hedgen was impressed. I thought repairs would take days. Not in emergency situations. We improvise. Junho sounded cheerful despite the dangerous conditions. Besides, my crew enjoys a good challenge. Minho's voice came over the com. Admiral, I can fix the primary systems, but we will need to replace 2 components I do not have. We will need to tow her out. Understood? Prep for tow operations. The human crew attached tow lines and began the delicate process of pulling the Morning Star out of the debris field. They worked for 8 hours straight in conditions that required constant attention and quick reflexes. To them, it was just a rescue operation. Difficult but manageable. To Corthan's observers, it looked like a military operation executed with perfect precision in impossible conditions. They are not even tired, one observer reported. Their biological signs show elevated activity but not distress. They are treating this hostile environment as routine. Corthan made a decision. Prepare to intercept once they clear the field. I want answers about what they were really doing here. Nari reached Ambassador Murray just as she received the same surveillance reports. They think Admiral Junho is running a military operation, Nari explained quickly. They do not understand he is simply rescuing a civilian. Where is Corthan now? Murray demanded. Moving to intercept. Armed and ready for confrontation. Get me a direct line to Junho, now. But it was too late. Junho's fleet emerged from the Kilos field with the Morning Star in tow. They found themselves facing a council military fleet. Weapons powered and shields up. Unknown vessels. This is General Corthan of the Council Defense Force. Stand down and prepare to be boarded for inspection. Junho stared at his display in confusion. This is Admiral Junho of the Human Space Force. We have just completed a rescue operation. What is the problem? That is what we intend to discover, Corthan replied. Your presence in the Kalos field has raised concerns? We need to verify your intentions. Our intentions? Junho looked at his officers. They looked just as confused as he felt. We received a distress call. We responded. That is what you do when someone needs help. In a forbidden zone, with military vessels, demonstrating capabilities that suggest advanced training and preparation. Junho finally understood. They thought the rescue was a cover for something else. They saw his crew working in extreme conditions and assumed they were elite military forces doing classified operations. General Corthan, I need to be very clear about something, Junho said carefully. What you saw was a standard rescue operation. Those were not elite troops. They were regular crew members doing their jobs. The conditions in the Kalos field are difficult, yes, but they are not impossible for humans. We can work in those environments. That is precisely our concern. Corthan's voice was tight. You operate in conditions we cannot. You go places we cannot follow. You have capabilities that make our best troops look weak. And you claim this is normal. Behind Jinho, Taiyang whispered, Sir, I think we accidentally scared them. I think you are right, Junho whispered back. Then louder, to Corthan, General, I think there has been a serious misunderstanding. Then help us understand, Corthan replied. Explain why humans keep going to places no one else can. Explain why you buy our prison ships and call them pleasure craft. Explain why you colonize worlds we deem uninhabitable. Explain why everything about your species suggests you are preparing for something. Junho thought carefully. This was more than a military standoff. This was about fear. The council was afraid because they did not understand humans. Dear sophisticated species, those prison ships? There are pleasure cruises Part 5. Admiral Junho sat across from General Corthan in the conference room of the council flagship. The room was kept at conditions comfortable for Corthan's species, which meant Jinho's slightly cold and the air felt thin. He did not complain. Let me start by saying I mean no offense, Junho began. I understand why our actions seem suspicious. From your perspective, humans must look either deceptive or dangerous. From our perspective, you are a species that finds torture comfortable and operates in environments that should kill you, Corthan replied. Yes, that is concerning. Because you assume that ability equals intent, Junho said carefully. You think because we can survive extreme conditions, we must be planning to use that ability against you. Are we wrong to think this? Junho considered his answer. General, I am a military officer. I understand strategic thinking. If I saw another species with our capabilities, I might think the same thing. But you are missing something important. What am I missing? Context. Humans did not develop our durability to be warriors. We developed it to survive our own planet. Everything you find threatening about us is just normal life on Earth. Corthan shifted in his seat. Your professor already explained this. Your world is harsh. This does not change what you are capable of doing. No, but it explains why we do not think the way you expect, Junho replied. When humans see a death world, we do not see a military opportunity. We see a potential home. When we buy your old prison ships, we are not mocking you. We genuinely think they are good vessels. Our perspective is completely different because our experience is different. Before Corthan could respond, the door opened. Ambassador Murray entered, followed by Captain Haon and Intelligence Officer Nari. They all looked worried but relieved to find everyone still talking. Ambassador, Corthan greeted her formally. We were just discussing human intentions. Then I am here at the right time. Murray took a seat. General, I have brought evidence that I think will help resolve this situation. She pulled up a data file. This is Nari's complete intelligence report on the incident. It shows that Admiral Junho's mission was exactly what he claimed. A routine patrol that responded to a civilian distress call. Nothing more. I have seen this report, Corthan said. It does not address my larger concerns about human expansion into areas we cannot monitor. Because those concerns are based on a false assumption, Nari spoke up. She was nervous but determined. You assume humans are going to those places for strategic advantage, but I have been analyzing human communication, commerce records, and settlement patterns for weeks now. I found something interesting. She displayed a map of human colonies and outposts. They were scattered across regions that other species avoided. Death worlds, radiation zones, high-gravity systems, extreme temperature planets. At first, I thought this was suspicious too, Nari admitted. But then I looked at the human communications about these places. They are excited. They send messages to family saying things like, "reminds me of home," and "finally found a good spot." They are not being strategic. They are being nostalgic. Nostalgic for death worlds? Corthan sounded skeptical. Nostalgic for Earth, Captain Hyan explained. Most species in the Council come from gentle worlds. When you colonize new planets, you look for places similar to your homeworlds. Comfortable places. Humans do the same thing. We just have a very different definition of comfortable. Jinho added, "When my crew was working in the Kalos field, they were not showing off military training. They were just doing their jobs in conditions that are difficult but manageable for humans. We did not realize you would interpret normal human capability as elite military performance." There was a long silence. Finally, Corthan spoke. "So you are saying that everything that makes us fear you is simply your nature? That humans are not trying to be threatening?" "Exactly," Murray said. "We are different, yes. Sometimes very different. But different does not mean hostile." The conversation was interrupted by a communication from the Celestial Dream. Captain Dayun appeared on screen looking apologetic. "Ambassador Murray, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have something here that might be relevant to your current situation." "What is it?" Murray asked. "A video? Made by a passenger. She asked me to send it to you specifically for the Council." The screen changed. Little Subin appeared, smiling at the camera. She was in her cabin aboard the cruise ship, sitting on the bare metal bunk that had so horrified the Council observers. "Hi," Subin said cheerfully. "My name is Subin and I am 9 years old. My teacher said we should make a video about our family vacation for class, so here it is." What followed was 15 minutes of pure innocence. Subin showed her favorite spots on the ship. She demonstrated how the 8G gym was fun because it made you feel like a superhero. She explained that the engine vibrations helped her sleep because they sounded like her dad humming. She showed the solar deck where she liked to read books. "Some people think this ship is scary," Subin said to the camera. "But I think it is cozy. It reminds me of camping with my family back on Earth. Everything is simple and real. Plus, there is zero-G swimming, and that is the best thing ever." The video showed Sabin's parents, Jiwan helping her daughter with homework in conditions that would crush most species. Sabin's father reading her a bedtime story in a room with no thermal regulation. Both parents looked relaxed and happy. "I want to be a space explorer when I grow up," Subin concluded, "so I can find new places for humans to live. Dad says there are lots of planets out there that nobody wants. Maybe we can make them into homes. That would be cool." The video ended. The conference room was silent. Corthan stared at the blank screen. "That child genuinely loves that ship?" "She does," Murray confirmed quietly. "And so do the 300 other passengers aboard. And the thousands of humans living on Death World colonies. And everyone who chooses to explore the harsh regions of space. We are not acting. We are not pretending. This is really who we are." General Corthan stood and walked to the viewport. He looked out at the stars for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was thoughtful. "I have spent my entire career preparing for threats, training to recognize danger. But I never considered that the most unusual species I encountered would simply be ... different, not dangerous. Just different. Does this mean you believe us?" Junho asked. "It means I have been asking the wrong questions." Corthan turned back to face them. "Instead of asking if humans are a threat, I should have been asking what humans can contribute. Because if you can truly survive in places we cannot go, that changes everything." Ambassador Murray smiled. "What do you mean?" The Council has identified thousands of resource-rich worlds that we cannot colonize. The conditions are too harsh. We have written them off as inaccessible. But to humans, they might be ideal. Some would be, Junho agreed. Others would still be difficult even for us. But yes, we could access many places you cannot. Nari pulled up a star chart. I did an analysis. There are at least 2,000 systems in Council space that are marked as uninhabitable due to extreme conditions. If even half of those are suitable for human settlement, it represents enormous potential for cooperation. Corthan nodded slowly. Resources we need but cannot reach. Worlds humans could settle but lack the technology to locate and evaluate. This could be a partnership, if we can learn to trust each other. Trust goes both ways, Captain Hyan pointed out. The Council needs to accept that humans are not trying to be threatening. But humans also need assurance that the Council will not see us as dangerous simply because we are different. Agreed. Corthan returned to his seat. I will recommend to the Council that we establish a formal partnership program. Humans help us access difficult environments. We help humans expand safely. Everyone benefits. With proper oversight, Murray added. Clear communication. Regular check-ins. No more assumptions on either side. No more assumptions, Corthan agreed. The formal treaty took 3 weeks to negotiate. In the end, it established humans as what the Council called extremophile specialists. Humans would have the right to settle on harsh worlds that other species avoided. In exchange, humans would assist with resource extraction, scientific research, and emergency operations in environments beyond normal Council capabilities. The treaty also included cultural exchange programs. Council species could visit human worlds and ships to better understand human biology and psychology. Humans could attend Council educational facilities to learn about the diverse species they now worked alongside. Most importantly, the treaty included a clause that both sides were particularly proud of, the agreement against assumption. Both humans and Council species committed to asking questions rather than jumping to conclusions when faced with behavior they did not understand. The signing ceremony was held aboard the Celestial Dream, which Corthan insisted on. If we are to trust humans, we should do so in their space, on their terms, he explained. Corthan attended the ceremony in a full environmental suit. So did most of the Council delegation. But they came. They walked through the cruise ship, watched human passengers enjoying their vacation, and finally understood. Subin was there too, invited as a special guest because her video had been the turning point.